Jungkook cries in Jin's embrace. Incheon airport filled with tears, ARMY touched. No one expected that a seemingly simple moment at Incheon airport would turn into an emotional event that touched the hearts of millions of fans worldwide. Why would a global idol like Jungkook cry in public, even in Jin's embrace? This question immediately sparked curiosity and left a big question mark. What actually happened behind those tears? The incident happened so fast, but eyewitnesses reported that the airport atmosphere suddenly fell silent when Jungkook lowered his head and his tears flowed uncontrollably. Jin, who had just arrived with a dignified stride, immediately approached and hugged his youngest brother. The hug was not just an ordinary gesture, but a symbol of warmth, protection, and deep intimacy that can only be understood by those who know the dynamics of BTS. The cheers of ARMY who filled the airport seemed to freeze for a moment. Phone cameras trembled, shouts turned into emotional sobs, and social media timelines were immediately filled with hashtags related to the moment. Thousands of posts circulated in just minutes, showing portraits of Jungkook shedding tears, while Jin gently patted his shoulder. Many wrote, "This is the most sincere moment ever seen in public." Jungkook's tears cannot be separated from the emotional context surrounding BTS. After a long period of busyness, global pressure, and temporary separation due to military service obligations, their meeting at the airport became an emotional turning point. The presence of Jin, the oldest figure often referred to as the group's guardian, provided a sense of security that immediately triggered relief for Jungkook. The hug signified that this family, although often separated by schedules, still has an unwavering bond. Local and international media present at the location immediately highlighted the moment. Photos of Jungkook crying spread across various news portals, complete with dramatic headlines emphasizing how strong the emotional bond of the BTS members is. Not just entertainment coverage, this moment was interpreted as a real representation that behind the extraordinary popularity, idols are also ordinary humans who can be fragile, tired, and deeply miss being together. ARMY's reaction further reinforced the significance of that moment. Many fans wrote testimonials that they also cried while watching the video. Some mentioned that Jungkook's tears reflected gratitude for Jin's presence, while others believed the tears were born from long-suppressed longing. When Jin hugged Jungkook, we felt like we were seeing a family finally reunited. One fan wrote in a viral tweet, "This phenomenon is not just an ordinary emotional moment, but a popular cultural event that shows how celebrity interactions can affect millions of people around the world." Incheon Airport, which is usually an international transit point, on that day turned into an emotional stage that bound ARMY with BTS even more closely. The hustle and bustle that is usually synonymous with the crowds of the airport turned into a space for mass contemplation about the meaning of friendship, loyalty, and sincere feelings. Interestingly, some entertainment analysts assess that this moment will be remembered as one of the emotional icons in BTS history. Jungkook's tears in Jin's embrace are not a weakness, but evidence of emotional maturity and honesty of a superstar. In an era where public image is often controlled by strict management, the courage to show such a human side becomes a strength. For ARMY, the hug felt like a reminder that BTS's journey has never been easy. There have been difficult times, separations, and even doubts. However, when they return and support each other, the fans' confidence is rebuilt. It is not an exaggeration if some say that Jungkook's tears were not only for himself, but also to represent millions of ARMY who bear longing and hope. Now, hashtags about the moment still top various social media platforms. Every photo, every video recording, even every small expression from Jungkook and Jin's faces is analyzed repeatedly by fans who don't want to miss any details. Incheon Airport may have returned to normal, but the echo of this event continues to roll on. A big question then arises. Will this be the beginning of more emotional BTS moments in public spaces? Or is this the peak that will always be remembered as a symbol of their brotherhood? What is clear is that this incident has left a mark that is not easily erased. Incheon Airport is no longer just an international travel location, but a silent witness to tears that strengthen the narrative about family bonds in the world of K-pop. behind the spotlight of the camera and the cheers of ARMY. There is a very clear message. Even global superstars need a shoulder to lean on. Jungkook found it in Jin's embrace, and millions of fans found new strength through that moment. Is it true that Jungkook cried in Jin's embrace at Incheon airport? Or is this all just an illusion created by the camera, the angle of the shot, and social media narratives? This question becomes important because in today's digital age, every event can be easily twisted, exaggerated, and even reproduced to provoke mass emotions. So, how should we as viewers respond to this? The moment described so dramatically does look real. Jungkook bowed his head, tears fell, then Jin came and hugged him. But are those tears really born from emotion? Or just the result of subjective interpretations of fans watching a few seconds of video footage? Are we not trapped in a narrative framing trap deliberately set up by the media to make this news more attention-grabbing? Let's reflect for a moment. The source of information about this event comes from various platforms: TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, to international online media. But are all those sources credible? Have the social media accounts that first spread the video been verified? Or are we only accepting snippets of images that may have been taken from a certain angle, then added with a dramatic narrative to create an emotional reaction? If that's the case, aren't we being guided to believe something that may not be in accordance with the facts? We have to ask, why did this moment go viral so quickly? Is it because it really touched hearts, or because there are certain interests behind it? Is the media trying to ride on BTS's popularity by magnifying a scene to generate clicks, views, and interactions? If that is the ultimate goal, shouldn't we be more careful not to become part of that sensationalism machine? Imagine if that moment wasn't actually as intense as we saw it. What if Jungkook was just wiping his face because he was tired, then the camera caught him as if he was crying? What if Jin's hug was just an ordinary greeting that was then glorified by media narratives? Are we as viewers ready to accept the possibility that the emotions we feel may be built on interpretation, not reality? Deeper criticism also arises. Does ARMY, as loyal fans, sometimes get too caught up in euphoria that they forget the importance of verification? Not a few fans immediately stated, "We cried with Jungkook," without confirming the original context. The question is, should loyalty to idols mean accepting all circulating narratives? Or should that loyalty be accompanied by a critical attitude so as not to be exploited by certain parties? This phenomenon teaches that every piece of video can form a new reality. We don't know what happened before and after that scene. Couldn't manipulation of public perception happen just by adding text, background music, or voice narration behind the video? If so, how do we distinguish between authentic moments and digital engineering deliberately made to lead emotions? These questions do not mean rejecting the truth completely, but rather inviting us to be reflective. Do we want to continue to be passive consumers of viral news? Or are we ready to be skeptical viewers who dare to ask, who is spreading this information? What is their motivation? And what is the impact on public opinion? We also have to reflect, what happens if it turns out this news is just a hoax or half-true? Haven't thousands of people been carried away by emotions, crying, and even writing long stories about Jungkook and Jin's sincerity? Will they feel cheated? Or will they still choose to believe it because the narrative is more beautiful to believe? Herein lies our dilemma as viewers. The truth sometimes feels boring, while sensationalism offers instant emotional satisfaction.